Viewers, you would remember that within days of the Delhi police filing a charge sheet against Kanhaiya Kumar, Umar Khalid and 8 others, that Congress had fanned the debate over the application of sedition law. Its most articulate legal face then had suddenly developed a conscience and had demanded that the BJP should stop misusing the legal provision. In fact, Kapil Sibal had said that section 124A should be scrapped entirely. But things have changed. Mr. Sibal is no longer in the Congress. Congress has been dithering on taking a stand on UAPA, a law that invoked when in power. Let's tell you what happened today. Delhi LG approved prosecution sanction against Arundhati Roy. In a 2010 case, the LG has sanctioned a prosecution as well as that of former Professor Dr. Sheikh Showkat Hussain under charges of UAPA. Of the many things Ms. Arundhati Roy had said, here are some highlights.
India needs Azadi from Kashmir just as much as Kashmir needs Azadi from India. It is the most militarized zone in the world. For me, it's an intolerable situation. It's a historic meeting taking place in the capital of this very hollow superpower. India needs Azadi from Kashmir just as much as Kashmir needs Azadi from India.
That was the speech of 2010 in which the LG has now finally approved the prosecution sanction. Let's open this up. Tuhin Sinha continues with us. Ishtaran Bhandari also. Sanjay Jha. Syed Asad Abbas joins the panel, political analyst. Mr. Abbas, before I come to you, let me quickly bring in Ishtaran to put this case in context. Ishtaran, a lot of people, may not understand what prosecution sanction is, why it was delayed.
Yeah, firstly, let's be very clear that this FIR was registered by UPA because we are preempting what all will be said about the government. So it is a 2010 FIR. They felt that they have to invoke certain section including UAPA and they registered. Now under certain offences you have to get sanction. That is the procedure prescribed by law and the Lieutenant Governor has given sanction. Some may say the sanction is very late. It should have been done years ago. It has come after 14 years, which is something, of course, which is serious. I believe such sanctions should come earlier than this. The third aspect on freedom of speech we will talk about, we have to understand a very basic difference. Like Sharjeel Imam case, if you say put people on chicken's neck, block the road, snap the chicken's neck, that to me is clearly an offense. That is when you are trying to incite people to break away from India. That is not a mere speech. Now what Arundhati Roy has said, what is the entire transcript? I have of course not seen it, so I will not comment on
I have
all
the
that
transcript.
She has said,
I have the transcript.
She is in the habit of talking about Kashmiri Azadi. You have this.
Yeah, let me begin
that's
by...
something, but it is not relevant right now because UPA, the Congress government registered the FIR. They found what has been said as something which deserves an FIR.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, I'm reading out what was said. Kashmir has never been an integral part of India. It is a historical fact. Even the Indian government has accepted this. I said what millions of people here say every day. I said what I, as well as other commentators, have written and said for years. For the Indian poor who pay the price of this occupation in material ways and who are now learning to live in the terror of what is becoming a police state, I see the government absolutely as the major aggressor. I perceive Maoists as a group of people who have at most militant end in the bandwidth of resistance movement that exist in the cities, in the plains and in the forests.
My answer to the BJP today on your program and to Mr. Modi's government is very simple. The former Prime Minister Pranesh, Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the much revered Mr. Vajpayee, who I believe was a Prime Minister 1,000 times better than what Mr. Modi can be, or hope to be, or dream to be, had famously said, Insaniyat, Jamhuriyat, Kashmiriyat. And guess what? He was engaging his own government and he himself was engaging with separatist forces, which we called as the Hurriyat Conference, in talking about on the Kashmir problem. Now, because he was engaging with people who believed that Kashmir needed an independent status, is Mr. Vajpayee an anti-national according to the BJP? Is Mr. Vajpayee, should he be accused, posthumously of sedition? I mean, there are viewpoints people have. We can agree and disagree with them. No problem. I agree with you on that.
This is the trouble. The BJP spokesperson hasn't even spoken. But you are responding to the BJP already. I read out some of the quotes as is published on, as has been published. Do you endorse these things? Kashmir has never been an integral part of India. It is a historical fact. Even the Indian government has accepted this.
Pranesh, the question that we all need to ask ourselves, and I have posed it already for Tuhin, who has to now wait for an answer from the BJP IT cell to come on his mobile phone.
Tuhin is ready.
But until he gets that answer,
let's bring in Tuhin. Tuhin answer Sanjay Jha.
Was Mr. Vajpayee an anti-national because he was talking to separatists?
I think well, Sanjay needs to grow out of his Modi obsession since he has invoked Vajpayee's slogan, Kashmiriyat, Jamhuriyat, Insaniyat. Let me tell him that Modi ji, please don't barge in like this. Please don't barge in like this. Have the basic courtesy. Since he has invoked Vajpayee's slogan, Kashmiriyat, Jamhuriyat, Insaniyat, let me remind him, let me tell him with responsibility that Modi ji has only added a fourth component to the slogan, which is Bhartiyat. And that is why Kashmir is in a way better situation than it was. Now coming to Arundhati Roy, what she did in 2010 and 2011, by the way, because in 2011 she had compared Indian and Pakistani armies, for which she herself apologized in 2019 and said that and confessed that it was a stupid remark. So she has been a habitual offender. Her only purpose seems to be to demoralize Indian armed forces and support Pakistani secessionist groups. I think, this is like Ishkaran mentioned, this was a case registered way back in 2010, and the Delhi Lieutenant Governor needs to be lauded for taking it to its logical end.
Syed Asad Abbas, do you see this as crackdown on free speech?
Absolutely not, Pranesh Sahab. As a matter of fact, the question that I'm asking was, I was in a debate on another channel with Mr. Sushil Pandit, who later joined in on a telephone call. He said that in 2010, he did face many hurdles to file the FIR. But finally, it was launched in the FIR during the UPA governance. But the real question is, Mr. Sushil Pandit's words on another channel, 2014, the Prime Minister changed, the Home Minister changed. 2019, we had the same Prime Minister. Why the delay when BJP came into power for the last 10 years? My question to Mr. Tuhin Sinha, why 10 years for justice, sir?
Okay.
Why couldn't you do this earlier?
I'll get to answer the question on delay, but now that you've said what you have, why don't you take a position on what was allegedly, purportedly said by Arundhati Roy? Do you endorse this or condemn this?
Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I was on two other national media channels.
Don't mention about other channels. Tell me, don't beat around the bush. MC Abbas, tell me.
Nobody's beating around the bush, Mr. Pranesh Kumar Roy. My words have been clear, categorically.
Do you condemn this?
I absolutely condemn everybody, not just Arundhati Roy.
Sanjay Jha, do you condemn or endorse
is not
the
a part
comments?
of integral India. Allow me to complete, sir. Kashmir is very much a part of India.
Sanjay Jha speaking. Sanjay Jha.
Pranesh, the Congress party has articulated its views very categorically, and I don't think that is even a point of debate. Here is a larger question. The timing that even Mr. Bhandari agreed, emerging now is to divert attention from the 4 terror attacks that have happened in Jammu and Kashmir, for which this government has proved to be so incompetent. Everybody agrees. Obviously, there's no debate on Kashmir being part of India. I don't think that is even a point of conversation. The government is doing this to divert attention from the terror attacks in Kashmir. And they have no answers to that. They have no answers.
Okay,
that is the real reason
to
why
divert
you create
attention. Quick word, Ishtaran, Tuhin, I'm coming to you after this.
Pranesh, I do not know what Mr. Jha heard. Usually he at least is able to listen and comprehend. I said, a person like me, I believe that the sanction should have come way earlier. Maybe in 2011 itself, when they registered the FIR, why did the UPA not give the sanction? Were they trying to protect somebody? All those questions we have to see. But the reality in this case is, Kashmir is not an integral part of India. Let me just quote from the judgment of Supreme Court, not quote, but let me just orally tell what the Supreme Court said. In the Constitution bench, no less held that Kashmir is an integral part of India. To my mind, anybody who says Kashmir is not an integral part of India is a part of anti-India forces, anti-India establishment, is a global narrative to break India. And it's unfortunate that Sanjay Jha did not univocally condemn it like Mr. Abbas did, that these statements should not have been made and that these statements are actionable and the FIR has correctly been registered.
Yeah, for a change, Syed Asad Abbas has taken an unequivocal stand on this, that Sanjay Jha could not. Tuhin Sinha coming in.
Pranesh, on rare occasions, I feel proud of Abbas because on rare occasions, he takes, some very firm stands in national interest. Like today, he condemned it unequivocally. Sadly, I can't say the same about the Congress party, which even on such occasions resorts to chicanery of the worst kind. I agree. The Delhi Lieutenant Governor could perhaps have taken this decision before, but better late than never. In fact, if any other similar case is pending, the Delhi Lieutenant Governor or the state where the case is pending should actually expedite it even today, because our stand against such elements as Arundhati Roy, who act as handlers and facilitators to actual terrorists, have been very clear from the start.
Let me quote from what Mr. Chidambaram had said then. This is his comment from October 2023. He said, a speech that does not directly incite violence will not amount to sedition. The law on sedition has been explained by the Honorable Supreme Court on more than one occasion. There is no justification now to sanction prosecution against her. And there was no justification then to register a case against her on the charge of sedition. This is Mr. Chidambaram. He had tweeted this. Mr. Jha.
Let me answer you very quickly. There is a Supreme Court verdict. I said on your program not once but several times, the question of Kashmir being part of India is not even a conversation. I don't think anybody is contrarian to that point. The larger issue is the BJP's timing of this entire prosecution. The timing has got to do with the terror attacks that have happened, and this government's incompetence has been exposed. That's the point I'm making.
No, Mr. Chidambaram was even opposed to the sedition case against Arundhati Roy. That's the point I am underlining.
Please respect him. He's the former Home Minister. That is his right to express a view. And if anybody in the BJP has an objection, they should argue with him publicly.
No,
I
so
don't
are
think
you
the
saying
BJP has said a word.
This was not the stand of the Congress party?
Sorry?
Tuhin Sinha?
The Congress party has always been soft towards separatist groups. In fact, in Kashmir, they kept pampering the Hurriyat till the situation went out of control. The Congress party's role in the Punjab extremism in the late 1970s and early 80s is well known. So Chidambaram's tweet is not surprising. What is surprising is that they continue to be defiant in this day when people of this country are more informed about such anti-national behavior.
Let's see what unfolds in this case, gentlemen. Tuhin Sinha, Mr. Bhandari, Sanjay Jha, Syed Asad Abbas. Thank you for joining us in India Upfront. Viewers, thanks for watching. Navita Kumar joins you on the other side.